Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about having a Leo Sun and Gemini Moon in a natal chart. Now, the basic character, in this case the Sun being in Leo, can be flamboyant, gregarious, extravagant, generous, courageous, and attention-seeking. Now, when you have Moon is the unconscious side and Sun being the conscious, and when you have the Moon in Gemini, well, the unconscious side, being the Moon, and in this case being in Gemini, can be very loquacious, versatile, contradictory even, verbose, eloquent, restless, and mobile. This could be a rather, I would say, high-strung, excitable combination. Leo Sun, in Gemini. I mean, Leo and Gemini can be very vivacious, but they're very excited about things, but they can also be very excitable as well. And you have the Sun being in Leo. The basic character can be high strung, and the Gemini Moon. The Moon is about our responses, and the Gemini Moon can react in a very excitable manner to things. Now, of course, there's always modifying influences and contraindicators in a natal chart. If somebody has Leo Sun, Gemini Moon, but they have, let's say, a Taurus ascendant, this may subdue this energy to some degree, because outwardly the person would be more passive, calm and placid. Now, another way this energy may manifest together, it could be where one may bring that Leo ferocity and that confidence into something Gemini related, and it could just be simply doing something with mobility, driving, doing work with the news. It could be just something with communication in general, manual dexterity, which can include auto or refrigeration mechanics as some examples, working as a mail carrier. This is in the Leo Sun. Sun is about our basic wants, and Leo Sun, wants to shine. They want their attention. They get and to be praised and lauded. And the Gemini Moon, needs to communicate, assimilate information, disseminate information as well, and express cleverness. Gemini Moon needs mobility, and games that may require mental agility, as some examples. Now, the true self, which is the Sun, in this case the Sun being in Leo, may be very extroverted, extravagant, boastful, confident. And the inner self, which is the Moon in this case being in Gemini, can be very vivacious, mercurial, superficial, vivacious, lively. Said vivacious 2 times, sorry. Lively, talkative, as some examples, and also too, the Sun in astrology is about our drive and motivation. The person, the Sun in Leo may be driven and motivated, which is the Sun, to dominate, which is Leo, and may do so with in a more feeling more spirited and vivacious, which is Gemini. The Moon is about how we feel. And the thing is too, the person that has this combination, keep in mind when you have the Gemini Moon, that could be shown more around, expressed more around people you're close to home with and your family, in a more, say, like a more introverted manner. Doesn't mean it doesn't come out anywhere else at any time in your life. I think my Gemini Moon comes out in many different ways, with all different people, but it may be more emphasized and accentuated, like with the people you feel close to home with, and home and family members more so than others on average, I would say. Now, the thing about this too, this combination can be more harmonious, I would say, if it is in a sextile aspect. Sextile aspect in astrology is 60 degrees. I use a 10-degree orb if I want at least one personal planet is involved. In this case, there are two personal planets involved with the Sun and the Moon. And the thing is, well, let's say if somebody has their Leo Sun at 17 degrees and the Gemini Moon at 12 degrees, that would form a sextile aspect. You would have, good blending of, that Leo Sun, Sun being the basic character, basic sunny disposition, and blending in, with that, it could be, Gemini Moon, may have that need, to express, just certain joy and, friendliness, I would say. Um, could be, having, just different, being very spirited. Gemini Moon, I should say, may feel very vivacious and spirited. And when you have it, and it's a good, it would be a very good, positive, blending. And you figure the Gemini Moon has also a need to express, versatility as well, and variety, and they may encourage others to do that as well, just by through leading, doing that through example. And so it can be a very good combination, having the Leo Sun and Gemini Moon, especially if it does make that the sextile aspect. Now, another thing too is having the Sun and the Moon, are, represent the biological father and mother respectively. Somebody that has a Leo Sun, they may act, the biological father may actually be a Leo Sun, Moon, or ascendant, or embody those characteristics. It could be, somebody that has the Moon in Gemini, could the mother may actually be a Gemini Sun, Moon, or ascendant, or embody those traits. Remember that it's also about the perception of these people. Somebody that has their Sun in Leo, may see the biological father as someone that's very magnanimous, generous, courageous, but yet maybe extravagant or domineering. And somebody that has, the Gemini, their Moon in Gemini, may see the mother as somebody that's versatile, multifaceted, amiable, um, and very diversified and, quick-witted, but may also see the mother as somebody that's, very mercurial, changeable, overly loquacious. And I have my Moon, again, my Moon is in Gemini, and my mother did not have a Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, but I felt like, my perception of her was like, she was very, I felt like she was flighty and, very changeable, and fickle, and very, loquacious as well. So I did, see her as like a Gemini, kind of, personality, even though she didn't have the Sun, even though her Sun, Moon, and or Ascendant was not in Gemini. Um, Now, another thing too, if this is going back to, if this is in sextile aspect, this could also increase the propensity of having, the biological, of having greater compatibility between the biological father and mother. I'm talking about the relationship that would exist between the two of those people. And but a lot of that, the compatibility and synastry could be predicated on the actual synastry that exists between those individual charts of those people. So you've got to factor that in as well. But it's really again, this is a combination that could be very positive because they're both, the Sun and the Moon are both in masculine signs. This could be somebody that wants that Leo praise. They want to be praised and lauded. It can be for cerebral, achievements and accomplishments. And Gemini is about things that are cerebral, intellectual. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.